back to Bucks Beat, episode 126. And today, a little deep dive into this Georgia defense and taking a close look at the off-the-ball inside linebackers in the upcoming 2025 season. Coming up in a little bit, one of Georgia's all-time great linebackers, Knox Culpepper, will join me on the show. Look, there are a lot of Bulldog doubters nationally out there right now entering this 2025 seasons. If you didn't know, Bulldogs have been downgraded, not expected to be at the top of the food chain in the mix, but not a lot of these preseason publications picking the Dogs to win the SEC and the national title this year. I think most of that love's going to the Texas Longhorns, but I think they've got too many good football players lined up in the upcoming season. I'm not buying the criticism coming into the year. I think I'm expecting Georgia to be in the mix in the upcoming season for the SEC title, and when the playoffs show up, I'm expecting Georgia to be in the mix there. Coach Kirby Smart, he's got to replace 16 starters. That's what you're reading in these preseason magazines and you're hearing on sports talk radio from these national pundits coming into the year. And what a lot of these national guys don't really realize is that at Georgia, Kirby Smart is reloading from year to year. Check the recruiting trend. Over the last 3 years, got a recruiting class rated number 1, number 2, and number 3. And they're lining up another outstanding class this year. Georgia, I believe, has the talent to hunker down this season, especially at linebacker. And wanted to take a look, deep dive in this podcast on the off-the-ball inside linebackers. Georgia calls it the MAC and the money positions. And we're talking about C.J. Allen, Raylen Wilson, Chris Cole, Justin Williams, rated as one of the top 5 linebacker position groups in college football in these preseason magazines. You've got Texas, and they've got coming into the year, a linebacker that everybody's picking to be All-American. That's Anthony Hill Jr. Trey Moore, another one of their linebackers. Brad Spence transferring in. So they've got a trio of big-time linebackers. They're led by Anthony Hill Jr. You got LSU getting a lot of love. Their linebacker position group. Whit Weeks. And also the veteran Harold Perkins. Really good duo that the Bengal Tigers have coming into the year. Publication I was looking at had Texas, LSU, Notre Dame, Pitt, and Georgia were the 5 linebacker position groups that they had rated in the top 5. C.J. Allen, man, he's been rocking and rolling for over a year now, entering his 3rd season with the Georgia Bulldogs. Seeing him on the preseason All-American list on some of these magazines, 6'1", 235 pounds. He's running a 4.55 40, and he is a 3-down in-the-box skill set is what C.J. Allen has. 76 tackles last season. A physical tackler that wraps up. He's a run stopper. Pursues and chases down ball carriers. Good in coverage. Really good as a blitzer when they heat him up. High football IQ. Anticipates and processes at a high level. He's a leader. And I'm expecting C.J. Allen to challenge for that Butkus Award they hand out at the end of the season. And he'll be joined, lining up next to him is his compadre Raylen Wilson. Seeing his name come up on a lot of these preseason all-SEC teams. 6'1", 235, another really fast linebacker running a sub-4.6, 47 tackles last season. Now, he's a run-and-hit skill set kind of linebacker. He's got elite range, wrap-up tackler. His motor runs hot, and he's really comfortable in coverage, both in zone and man-to-man coverage. He can match up. And he is He's experienced. He's played in 26 games coming into the season. Georgia with a really outstanding 1-2 punch, and that's why they're rated as having one of the top 5 linebacker rooms in college football this year. But you know what? It goes way deeper than that, because Georgia, they've recruited so well that they've got a couple of young linebackers that are going to be lined up behind Allen and Wilson. And Chris Cole is a guy that flashed at the end of last season, got on the field a little bit more, 6'3", 235, really athletic. He was a safety in high school, put on a little more weight, and now lined up inside playing linebacker. Made the all-freshman SEC team last season, and outstanding in coverage. This guy gets his hands on the ball if you're going to work the middle of the field as far as the quarterbacks go. I would anticipate you're going to see Chris Cole, may not be a starter, but they'll have a package ready for him, and I think his third down passing situations, you'll see Chris Cole get out on the field and get a lot of playing time on third down. Developing as a pass rusher, too, could really impact things there. And then you've got Justin Williams, who was the number 1 rated linebacker in the 24 recruiting class, number 1 rated nationally. 6'2", 220 pounds, got really all-around skills. You would expect that, being the number 1 rated linebacker in his class. Really attacks the run, defends the pass. 12 games experience a year ago, getting his feet wet, figuring things out. Really looked good this spring. If you were at G-Day or watched the G-Day game, he had 9 tackles that day. He was all over the field. And what Kirby loves about Cole and Williams, he was bragging on these two guys after the G-Day game, loves their fire, their passion for the game, and the energy that they're bringing to the table. So those 4 guys should really impact this defense in the upcoming season. And I don't know, freshman linebacker Zayden Walker's another highly rated guy that will be taking the field in preseason camp too. So, look, man, feel good about this Georgia linebacker core. We're talking off the ball, inside, in the box. Georgia's in really good shape with 4 talented, experienced linebackers coming into the season that they'll be able to rely on. And joining me now is one of Georgia's all-time great linebackers, Knox Culpepper. Still holds the single-season tackling record, 170 tackles in 1984, 166 in 1983, and has the Georgia single-game tackling record of 26 tackles against Georgia Tech, and just a week or 2 prior to that, he had 25 against Auburn. Knox, great having you on as we talk about these Georgia linebackers today.
Well, I really appreciate you having me on, Buck, and it's exciting to be a Bulldog these days.
Yeah, Kirby's lining up some talent, and I'll tell you what, he's impacted every position group, but I am so impressed, Knox, with the job that he and Glenn Schumann and these other defensive coaches have done on the recruiting trail as we talk about off-the-ball inside linebackers. They have stacked them up year after year after year. What's been the secret finding all this talent to play inside?
You know, good talent makes really good coaches. I'll say that. It is, they just loaded themselves with 5-star recruits, and it seems like, you know, you expect there to be a drop-off because we lose so much talent every year, and they just seem to plug in place and continue to generate top defenses every year. And these guys are just so big and so fast and so mobile. They're a lot of fun to watch.
And they're going to return 2 of these off-the-ball tackling machines this season. C.J. Allen and Raylen Wilson are getting a lot of love in these preseason college football magazines, all SEC mentions, got some All-American mentions as far as C.J. Allen goes. They played a lot of football a year ago. C.J. Allen is has been a guy that's hard not to miss when you see the Bulldogs play. What do you like about these two guys?
You know, Kirby seems to recruit really intelligent players. These guys have such an eye for the ball, and they understand the scheme, and they direct everybody. I mean, they are truly the quarterbacks of the defense. And it's hard to replace intelligence. And I think these guys are two really athletic, smart guys, and I'm excited to see them play this year. And then we've got a transfer from Army, this Elo, I think it's Madozi, who's also seems to be he had a big impact in the spring.
Yeah, he's coming off the edge. Behind C.J. Allen and Raylen Wilson are we got two super young players that will get playing time this year and are ready to step in as Allen and Wilson move on. Chris Cole, we got to see at the end of last season, stepped in and made a lot of plays. Expecting to see a lot more of him. And Justin Williams, the number one rated linebacker in the 24 class, looked good this spring. G-Day sort of flashed some skills. So not only is it C.J. Allen and Raylen Wilson, you also got Chris Cole, Justin Williams that they're developing quickly. Looks like they're going to make an impact, too, off the ball inside in the upcoming season. Schumann, what do you think the secret is? I mean, watching these, selecting these guys at the high school level, envisioning that they are going to play in this pro-style system that Schumann Lanning started and Schumann and Kirby are running at Georgia right now. But they're looking for guys 6'3", 225 pounds that can run. I mean, we're talking about the total skill set they've been getting in here.
Yeah, and, it's one thing to have talent, but it's another thing you have to give Schumann credit. I mean, these guys really play as a team. And, it's great to have five-star talent, but if everybody's not on the same page, then, you're not going to produce. It's truly a team effort. And it's really impressive how those guys prepare for each game. They have, and it's really impressive how they keep everybody fresh. I mean, they, fortunate to have the backups that you mentioned, Quintavious, Justin, and Chris.
So talk to me, look back at the days. I was so impressed watching you play the game. It's like you knew what the play was going to be. When I was watching you play, Knox, processing information, quickly, anticipating what the play is going to be, reacting quickly. These three things are very important to be an outstanding linebacker, right? I mean, talk to me about those three things: processing the information quickly, anticipating what the play is going to be, reacting quickly, getting to that ball fast. Those seem to be critical things for any linebacker that wants to play at a high level.
What I really like about watching some of all the information we have available on YouTube, and it just goes to preparation, and it just goes to show how important it is to watch film and to have a good game plan. And we were fortunate to have Coach Lewis and Coach Strom, and those we worked our tails off during the week and prepped. And so, I mean, you work so hard during the week, by the time you get to the game, it's second nature, and it's really fun time. So as opposed to getting winded, you're enjoying it. So I have to say the preparation is what enables you to perform, and just not to think, just to play.
And then physically holding up during this long season they've gotten into now. I mean, you got to be strong at the end of the year. That's when those big games start coming up. Can't be any drop-off during the course of the year. And it looks like tackling is not as good as it used to be, Knox.
Oh,
it's
no
just
doubt.
not as good as it used to be. They're not working on it as much. It's just not as much physical knocking heads at practice, although I think Kirby's a little different there. right? I mean, Kirby, he's pushing these guys hard during the week. Physically, you got to be able to hold up, and you got to wrap up. Knox, I'm sick and tired of seeing those defensive backs come up and trying to knock people down, right? I mean, you got to wrap those arms up.
Yeah, boy, you're preaching to the choir. It is. I will say this: there was really no limit on time as far as practice. I have to take my hat off to the coaching staffs now. They are so limited on time, and I think you may be seeing, one of the, the fundamentals. We used to work daily on fundamentals, and I think they have such little time with the players these days that you lose that. And I agree with you. It is so frustrating to see people just lead with their shoulder and not wrap people up. And to me, that's a product of kind of the football environment now and how much they've limited practice time and prep time.
Who were some of the linebackers you were looking at, trying to mimic back at your day prior to playing at Leavitt and then playing at Georgia? Who were some of the guys that stood out that you enjoyed watching?
Oh, man. The idols, Dick Butkus was a big one.
Mike Singletary.
Oh, my gosh, the guy's an animal. Really, Lawrence Taylor, who was an outside linebacker, but what a game changer. Harry Reasons, James Banks. I mean, just, those are the guys that are not only incredible players, but they're just massive individuals and also very intelligent. So, yeah, I mean, growing up, it was wanting to emulate Dick Butkus and those types. And then, as I got out of school, start getting a little more local and are getting a little more current. And, so I really idolized a lot of the New York players. They seemed to have really good teams in the 80s.
Knox, what about the linebacker room when you were at Georgia? I think Bill Mitchell was one of the linebackers. Can you talk about the group that you were with at Georgia?
It's good to have those guys on our team. You want a Bill Mitchell behind you and backing you up. You fight together on the field, and then you live together off the field, so you really become close. And we had a very close group of linebackers that we played together on the field, and we spent majority of our time with each other off the field. And I think that's what helps team wise. You spend, and I'm going to say that's another difference now with the turnover you have with the transfer portal and the people leaving early. You tend to lose that camaraderie and tend to lose that, the team atmosphere. That's another big change since you and I were playing ball. But
Knox, let me congratulate you on the Georgia High School football induction coming up later this fall. You're in the 2025 class. It was great to see you. Get the votes to get in there. Talk about those days back at Leavitt playing for the Lions. I believe you were playing a little running back then too, weren't you?
It was, fortunate to be at Leavitt. I was very fortunate to attend that school. Great coaching staff, great group of people, and I'm one of the weird guys that used to actually enjoy practice and as well as the games. I mean, I really couldn't wait to get out there and get on the field after class. So yeah, just a great opportunity. They did a really good job of promoting their players, as a small AA school. I happen to live right down the street from where you're working now and live right at the back gate of Leavitt, just by coincidence, but a great experience. I mean, I was very fortunate to attend Leavitt just from a college prep standpoint. It was a really great situation, and it's still a good school today.
Well, again, congratulations. What a great honor. I'll look forward to seeing you down there coming up here a little later in the year. Knox, thanks so much for your time and insight, brother. We appreciate you.
I really appreciate you having me, Buck. Thank you.
Always great running into Knox Culpepper, one of the great linebackers that that Georgia has ever suited up. He was a tackling machine. And I wanted to bring this up before I left you today, as I saw SEC Media Days coming into Atlanta next week. Georgia will, Kirby Smart will be trotting out some of his leaders and captains coming into the season next week. Here next Tuesday, Georgia takes the floor with SEC Media Days. And C.J. Allen will be representing this Georgia defense and the University of Georgia. Also, lockdown cornerback Dalen Everett. We've talked about him on the podcast. One of the better cornerbacks. These two guys have a chance to be first-round picks in next year's NFL draft. Gunnar Stockton, also the Georgia quarterback. And I know there's still some people out there thinking, look, Kirby hadn't officially named him as the starting quarterback. Is Puglisi going to be able to beat him out? But look, this is Gunnar Stockton's position. Leader on this offense, expecting big things out of Gunnar Stockton, playing at a high level this year. I can't wait to see what he does in the upcoming season. And those will be the three players representing Georgia at SEC Media Days. C.J. Allen, Dalen Everett, Gunnar Stockton, leaders and captains of this 2025 Georgia football team. It's going to do it for this podcast. We'll have another one that will drop the end of this week. And remember now, the Buck Belue Show on 680 The Fan, when the Braves don't play at 7, I'm on 6 to 8. And then on Saturdays, 9 to noon on Saturdays on 680 The Fan. Have a great week, everybody.